If you have done enough surveillance, folks, you know that Murphy's Law can come into play almost every day. Whatever can go wrong will go wrong, or maybe better put, whatever weirdness can happen will probably happen while you are out on surveillance. I mean, gosh, if I'm watching a subject who drives a pink pickup, I am sure that I will see 3 pink pickups that day while I'm on mobile surveillance following my subject. It just always happens. If my subject always wears a blue beanie hat with a green fuzzy ball on top, well, guess what? Everybody else is going to be wearing blue beanie hats on that day. It just happens. That is why it is so important to be prepared for just about anything. It doesn't do a lot of good to sit around and worry about what might happen. Just be as prepared for anything and everything to happen, and always have backup plans B, C, and 4 ready to go. Now, this case was a fairly routine workers' comp case. The subject lived in a standard residential neighborhood along with his wife and his 2 kids. The residence was at the end of an L street, so when you hit his driveway, you had to take a left-hand turn onto another street. That street literally went around the entire neighborhood in a loop, in a horseshoe, and it exited out onto a main collector road. Now, upon arrival, I had only a few options of where I could sit. One place was on that street to the left of his house and about the distance of a block and a half away. This was problematic because there were a ton of vehicles parked on the street. These parked vehicles blocked much of my view to where all I could really see was the side of one of my subject's vehicles. And with that many vehicles parked on the street, it meant activity was going to be plentiful once people started going to work in the morning. This video is sponsored by OREP Insurance and Working PI Magazine. OREP is a leading provider of private investigator liability insurance. Visit orep.org for a quote today. Another option I had was to sit outside of the neighborhood on the collector street, or maybe in another neighborhood and watch the exit. There were multiple exits to the neighborhood, but the front one appeared to be the only logical route, since all of the other ones would have him driving around through a lot of neighborhood residential streets, and that just didn't make a lot of sense. But then there's Murphy's Law. So I decided I best be parked where I can watch the residents until I could establish a good pattern of activity for my subject. That left me with one parking place about 4 houses away from my subject's residence where I could park and watch directly out my front window right at the front door of my subject's residence, the entry for his vehicles as well, and the garage door. From a stationary surveillance viewpoint, this was almost perfect. However, from a mobile surveillance standpoint, this was troublesome, as the subject was most likely going to drive right past me when he leaves, and I would have to make a quick U-turn from my parked position to ensure that a follow was able to be established. I also thought the parking space available was a bit strange. It was a long space, about 3 or 4 car lengths long, right between 2 houses, which seems ideal. This is usually a good place to park, as nobody really knows whose car it is or who it is associated with, because it's not directly in front of any house. Now remember also what I said before. There were many cars parked on the street and very little available parking places to park, indicating that most of the neighborhood did not utilize their garages. So having this much parking space available to me where I could easily see my subject's house seemed to be more than just good luck. So I got parked, and I decided, due to the likelihood of heavy activity, I better get blacked out. Now it's about 5:30 in the morning when I arrived, so it was still dark outside. I get my blackouts, those black foam core window cutouts for my windows, all in place. I get my black curtain up behind me. I get my windshield cover up in the windshield so no light is able to come into the vehicle. I was lucky enough, too, that I could use one of these little gadgets, a clamp tripod, to clamp onto my steering wheel and have the camera pointed right at my subject's residence. Now, the camera that I prefer to use in these scenarios is my JVC AVC HD camera. Why do I prefer this camera, you ask? Great question. My JVC camera I have had for a long time, and it has this really cool feature that most cameras don't have. It has Wi-Fi capability. I have an app on my phone that I can use, that I can start recording, stop recording, take still photos, and even zoom in and zoom out. About the only thing that I can't do with that camera is pan and tilt. So, given the scenario, I'm all blacked out. I mount my camera to the clamp mount and I attach it to the steering wheel. Then I get it focused in on the entire front of the house, peeking out a very small area to the left of my sunscreen visor, and then place a black cloth over the top of the camera so the screen is not illuminating the inside of my vehicle. Then I can sit in the back of my vehicle with the app running on my phone and watch the view all of the time. When I see activity, I can quickly hit the record button, and at the same time, I can grab my other camera, look at that small space to the left of my sunscreen, and I can zoom in and I can get more video. Now, if you do this using 2 cameras, folks, you need to make sure that your cameras time is synced perfectly. You don't want to have video at 7:48 of the subject walking out of his front door, and then at 7:47 he gets in his vehicle, or at 7:50 he gets in his vehicle. Bad timing and huge time gaps during activity video is not a good thing for surveillance investigators, folks. So there I was, all set up, ready to go. I knew that I had plenty of obstacles when he goes active. I was going to have to first get from my back seat to my front seat while obtaining video. This is where having that front camera shooting video while I'm doing that comes in really handy. Once I get to the front seat, I had the problem where I didn't really know what was going on around me because I was blacked out. I do have some small peek holes in some of the corners of my blackout so I can peek out if needed, but that still leaves you pretty much, well, in the dark, so to speak. Once I get to my front seat, I need to pull down the blackout so I can see around me. I need to pull down that black curtain behind me so I can see behind me. I need to pull down the windshield sunscreen so I can see in front of me. I need to get the camera shut off and detached from my steering wheel. I need to get my car started, and then I need to flip a U with cars parked all around me so I can follow my target. All while not drawing attention to myself. Yeah, sounds easy, right? This is where preparation and careful thought come in, folks. Don't just get into the neighborhood and park and wait for something to happen and react when it happens. I am always working out scenarios in my mind, going through all of the what ifs and having as many plans as placed in my mind as possible. This generally works well for me. But folks, what was about to happen to me while I sat there in my little protective blacked out surveillance box, I never ever imagined would happen to me. As I sat there, I hear neighbors all around me coming out, starting their cars, doors opening, doors closing, people talking. It gets a little bit unnerving at times, folks. But then I know there's always a high activity period, usually from around 6:30 in the morning until about 8 in the morning. Then things settle down after everybody has gone off to work and the kids are gone to school. About 7:15, I realized I heard some steps in the snow right outside of my car. Then I hear more steps. Somebody walking in the snow outside of my car. Then I start to hear voices from people outside of my vehicle. I am like, oh my goodness, are there suspicious neighbors checking out my vehicle? I go into total stealth mode, folks. I just sit there as still as I can, barely breathing at all, and I watch my camera feed on my phone, and I listen to the voices. After about 15 minutes, it started to sound like there were about 20 people outside of my car. I am running through my checklist in my mind. Did I arrive when it was dark? Check. Did I get blacked out immediately? Check. Did I cover my front stationary camera? Check. Is my phone dimmed? Check. Am I covered up and hunkered down and as hidden as possible? Check. Suddenly I hear a loud engine from a very large vehicle that pulls up right next to my vehicle out on the street. I am like, oh no. Is that a tow truck? I slowly reach over. I peek out one of those little peek holes in my window blackout, and there it is. A huge, bright, yellow school bus sitting right next to me. I then hear many of those voices as they get nearer to my car and the kids get onto that bus. I about died laughing at myself in the situation. I was parked at the neighborhood's school bus stop. It was not marked, but that is where everybody in the neighborhood knew not to park because that's where the school bus would stop and pick up the kids. A few minutes go by, then I see activity at the front door of my subject's residence. The inside door is opening. I can see two figures inside the door. Then suddenly I see the screen door open and two teenage kids walk out and head right in my direction. Of course they do. I'm parked at the school bus stop, aren't I? Then another crowd of kids starts gathering around me. This time it was even louder. Then again, I see activity at the front door of my subject's house. The door opens up and out walks my subject's wife. She looks right over in my direction and she waves. Of course she does. Now I'm like getting really paranoid. Was she waving at me? Am I burned? Or was she waving at her kids? Settle down, John. She was most likely waving at her kids. I see her then go to the car in the driveway and start it up, and then she goes back into the house. Then suddenly, here comes another bus to take away the remaining kids. I was so relieved. A few minutes later, here comes my subject out of the house with his wife. They walk over to the car slowly. He gets into the passenger seat. She gets into the driver's seat, and away they go. I went through all of the steps that I planned in my head. I pull down my back curtain. I hop into the front seat. I get my blackouts out of the windows. I get my sunscreen out of the windshield. I shut my camera off. I get it detached from the steering wheel. I get my car started. I make a quick U-turn, and much to my surprise, folks, I caught up to the subject before he got out of the neighborhood. It was a good day of surveillance. I got plenty of video of my subject and followed him back to his residence.